Alright guys, the first phase of the 2.7 version update is right around the corner, nearly 1 week away, which means we're about to get the hype release of Galbrena's banner very soon. Galbrena is an incoming 5-star fusion pistol main DPS character, providing amazing heavy attack and echo skill damage. Galbrena is capable of switching forms and entering an enhanced form called Demon Hypostatus, where all her skills will be amplified and in turn do a lot more damage. Galbrena will no doubt provide amazing value and work well on many different teams. So in today's video, we'll cover everything you need in order to fully get ready and pre-farm for Galbrena with her ascension and skill materials, the best echo builds, team synergies, her weapon options, and finally, we'll wrap up with the big question: how much value does Galbrena have in the first place? And if you guys do enjoy the guides, make sure to like and subscribe, put those notifications on for more WUWA updates and guides like this on the channel. But alright, let's not waste any time and get into the Galbrena pre-farm guide. Starting off with her pre-farm materials to take Galbrena all the way to level 90 and max out her forte skills. Here's what you'll need for the Ascension materials. First, you'll need the much needed Tidal Residuum located on the screen. You can get these from normal enemies. You'll also need the World Boss material, the Blighted Crown of Puppet King. This is dropped by the False Sovereign. You will find the boss located right here on the map. You can also choose to challenge it earlier by tracking it from the boss challenge menu to make things a lot easier. Next up, the overworld material will be the Stone Rose. You'll need about 60 of these to ascend her to max level. Now moving on to the Forte materials. You'll need more of the following Tidal Residuum, and since Galbrena is a pistol character, you will need to farm the following forgery challenges to get the required Phlogistons. You will also need the following weekly boss material, which are the Curse of the Abyss, which at the moment is not available to pre-farm, as this boss will only be added once the 2.7 version update goes live, but at least everything else is available to pre-farm. And of course, make sure to have at least 2 million shell credits to fully upgrade her Forte. Now before we move on, let's also go over her Forte skill priority, which one you want to prioritize and upgrade first for maximum value. Alright, so the highest priority when it comes to upgrading her Forte would definitely have to be the Forte Circuit. That is going to be the highest priority above all, as this is where she gets most of her damage and most of her damage multipliers, so you definitely want to go all in for the Forte Circuit right away. Now for the other priority, not as important, you can then go for the Resident Inspiration, Resident Skill, Normal Attack, which are all on the same priority level, and I would say lastly, you can worry about the intro skill. But first thing you definitely want to prioritize is the Forte Circuit. Alright, now moving on to the echo sets and builds for Galbrena, which one is going to be the most valuable? So as a main DPS character who mainly deals heavy attack damage and echo skill damage, Galbrena is well suited for the new Flame Wings Shadow Echo set. This set almost seems tailor-made for her, as dealing echo skill damage will increase her heavy attack crit rate by 20%, and dealing heavy attack also increases her echo skill crit rate by 20%. While both effects are active, she gains additional 16% fusion damage bonus. And keep in mind, this is going to be a 3-piece set, so for the 2-piece, what you want to go for is that extra 10% fusion damage from the other sets. Now the main 4-cost echo that you want to go for is going to be the Coercor. This echo not only deals fusion damage, but the resonator with this echo equipped in the main slot gains 12% fusion damage bonus and 20% echo skill damage bonus with a cooldown of 20 seconds, which is exactly what Galbrena wants as a fusion main DPS dealing echo skill damage. Now for an alternative, if you don't have the full Flamewing Shadow set, then you can simply go for the Molten Rift echo set as well, which will still provide a good amount of fusion damage option, up to 30% for 15 seconds after releasing Resident Skill. And for the main echo, you can even use the Nightmare Inferno Rider, which will give a bonus of 12% fusion damage bonus and 12% Resident Skill damage bonus. So definitely her best echo option is going to be the new Flamewing Shadow. Next up, let's move on to the echo stats, the main stats and the substats, which you want to go for. So when it comes to Galbrena's main stats, you want for the 4 cost is going to be crit rate and crit damage. She wants as much crit as possible as a main DPS. Now for the free cost, you want to go fusion damage and attack. Prioritize fusion damage if possible. If not, if you got better substats on the attack percent, that will do just fine. And the one cost will be attack percent. Now moving on to the echo substats, the priority is of course going to be crit rate and crit damage. And after that, a lower priority but still very important is going to be attack percent and heavy attack damage. So this is the echo main stats that you want to go for and the echo build that you want to go for when building Galbrena. Next up, let's move on to her best viable weapon options. Of course, as we all know, her best weapon option is going to be her signature, the Lux and Umbra, providing crit damage main stat and the effect upon dealing echo skill damage, 20% heavy attack damage amplification, and an extra 20% echo skill damage upon dealing heavy attack. And when both effects are active, dealing damage ignores 8% of the target's defense, so you can't get better than that for Galbrena. But if you really don't want to pull on a weapon, she does have some amazing alternatives, like the standard pistol weapon, the Static Mist, which will be a pretty good option for her. There's also the Carlotta signature weapon, the Last Dance, and 4-star alternatives are going to be the Solar Flame, still having a crit rate main stat, and still giving her a crazy amount of attack and heavy attack damage, which is exactly what she wants. Out of all these 4-star alternatives, the Solar Flame is definitely the one you want to go for. Alright, lastly, let's talk about Galbrena's team options. So Galbrena surprisingly has a wide variety of team options, which in turn will up her value by quite a lot. Now on release, her best premium team will not be available, as Kyon is going to be her best partner, and Kyon is the second phase 2.7 character, so the team is going to be Galbrena as the main DPS, Kyon as the sub DPS, and Shorekeeper as the sustain and support. Kyon is looking like an amazing character that buffs the team's crit damage and echo skill damage, which in turn will give Galbrena a pretty big boost in damage. But for teams that you can do on launch, like the Galbrena hypercarry teams, Galbrena as the main DPS, and Yuno is going to be an amazing option, as Yuno gives a massive heavy attack damage bonus, which we all know will in turn boost Galbrena's damage by quite a lot, and having Shorekeeper to provide additional buffs and healing to the team. But for a more free-to-play version of the hypercarry team, you can use Galbrena as the main DPS, Mortefi as the 4-star option on the sub DPS, and Varina as the sustain to keep your team alive. Mortefi still providing amazing value with his heavy attack damage buffs. We also have the Galbrena full fusion teams alongside characters like Lupa and Brant, which will work pretty well, and you can even use Galbrena, Lupa, and if you don't have Brant, Shorekeeper and Varina is a good alternative. Now, we also have one last mention, which is Galbrena's echo skill damage team. We have Galbrena alongside Frolova as another DPS, and Cantarilla as another DPS, so this is going to provide a very unique team focusing on echo skill damage, which I'm sure will receive a buff once we get the release of Kyon in the second phase of 2.7. Galbrena being able to work with many characters and many teams definitely ups her value by quite a lot. Usually, when it comes to the value of the character, is how many teams they can work on, and it seems Galbrena is providing many different team options, shaping up to be one of the strongest DPS units in her element, with consistent scaling and solid synergy options. If you need a main carry, she's definitely worth pulling, but if you already have multiple built DPS and are short on resources, you may want to wait until her release and see how she performs in the game. This will conclude my full pre-farm and build guide for Galbrena, so if you guys enjoyed, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and put those notifications on if you haven't already to not miss out on future Wuthering Waves updates. That is all for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.